Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV Tech Life Weekly. And we are here and we want to get started with this week in history. So, we're going to show you what's been happening in the world of tech during the week of December the 9th. How you doing, Fran?
I am doing good. So
Good, good.
we're jumping into this day or this week in tech history. There's a lot of little things that we didn't, stuff we might not have known about.
Mm.
So, wow. Okay, I'm going with this one. Uh, Segway, December 3rd, 2001. Segway is unveiled. Does anybody know what Segway is?
I don't recall. I remember hearing, what is Segway?
Dr.
Is this
Tati says she knows what it is.
Yes, it's a contraption that is kind of the precursor to some of these scooters that we have now, and it was electric.
ah,
And it was the two wheeler, so not front and back, but side by side, and you can ride them around the city, etc.
Right. So it says
oh,
inventor Dean Kamen unveils the Segway self-balancing battery-powered vehicle on the TV show Good Morning America. The
I
Segway
remember that.
the Segway uses computers and motors in its base to keep itself upright while the user is riding it. Users shift their weight to control the Segway. While not considered a commercial success, the Segway has definitely become a familiar icon of personal transportation.
Mm.
Uh, and I think I've seen these in um, uh, sometimes on the beaches, like it's a Venice Beach or something.
Oh,
Anyway, like Dr.
yeah.
Tati said, now we have scooters where the
Mm-hmm.
wheel, or what do they call uh, the blades, where I guess it is a scooter, where you have the wheel in front and back and it has a
Yeah.
handle. Ones that are all over the city unparked sometime.
Mm-hmm. Look like the ones we used to make out of orange crates and
Right,
roller
right.
skate wheels. Yeah,
Yeah,
the hand
yeah,
scooters. They just have batteries now.
right.
The thing about the Segway is, I remember it was featured in the movie. What was it, Mall Cops or something?
Yes, that's what they use to get
Comedy.
around. Yeah, they use
Yes.
that around the mall. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if it's faster to walk or use that thing. Okay,
I don't know because you got people in the way. You know what I mean?
right. And then it also has the electric bikes that are out right now.
Uh
There
huh.
are electric bikes that are out, and I'm like, okay, the whole purpose of the bike is to pedal, right?
Or is
I
it just a mode of transportation?
Right. So if it's an exercise bike, having the motor kind of defeats the purpose. But the electric bikes are interesting because they can help you get up hills. You remember you try to go up a hill on a regular speed bike,
Mm-hmm.
the hill was the issue. But then you can kick it into the electric mode and it helps propel you up above and you're not pedaling so hard. So I guess, it depends on what you are using the bike for.
Just a better form of gear shifting.
Yes, it enhances or helps the rider, but then you can use it if you need to as motorized, completely motorized. So the
There you go.
Segway comes out, and it's interesting to note that it said here that it uses computers and motors in its base
Mm-hmm.
to keep itself upright. Um, And the thing with computers, there's always something that you need to be concerned. Is it what happens if it fails, or what happens if you didn't get it programmed quite right, or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I am going to go to another story. I don't know what I want to talk about. Okay, I'm going to do this one because it has something to do with music.
Mm.
RIAA sues Napster. Everybody remember Napster, where you used to be able to get music anywhere you want?
Yes. It The
Yeah,
so-called piracy music. Hmm.
yes, the Recording Industry Association of America sues the peer-to-peer file sharing service Napster, alleging copyright infringement for allowing users to download copyrighted music for free. The RIAA would eventually win injunctions against Napster, forcing the service to suspend operations and eventually filed bankruptcy. In the end of the
Hmm.
RIAA and its members would settle with Napster's financial backers for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mm.
While the case was ostensibly about copyright violation, the bigger picture for the RIAA was also about control. The recording industry in general was caught with its pants down when it came to digital music and the internet. They were not
Hmm.
prepared for the sudden popularity of digital music downloads that Napster introduced and were not ready with a model to monetize downloaded music. So they weren't prepared. I don't.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
they made a shift and try to prepare. I do now know that you still can't just download people's music for free. And then there are different streaming services that are now in play: Apple, Spotify, Pandora, and the like. And I do believe they are all have some kind of um, permissions, if you will. Dr. Tachi can help me out with that, but they have to have some type of agreement now. You can't just go and just
Yeah,
start.
it's licensing agreements.
There
And
you go.
so, for example, when you have these social media apps that allow you to put music to your reels and TikToks, etc. That happens because of licensing agreements. And so something probably went awry, or that a particular song is not available anymore. And that's why you'll notice you'll have a TikTok or a reel or even now a YouTube short, and the music is gone and so is your audio. So just be careful with that.
Right. Just interesting. It all comes back, and that was in December 7th, 1999. So, Napster
Hmm.
was out ahead of his time there, because Spotify and all of the other, music systems are a thing. Um,
Mhm.
On December 8th, 1975, Paul Terrell opens the Byte Shop, one of the first retail computer stores in the world. Besides that important distinction, Paul Terrell and the Byte Shop are most famously known for ordering the first 50 computers from Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak's fledgling Apple Computer Company in 1976. As the story goes, the Steves initially intended the Apple I to be a kit where buyers could solder together the chips onto the circuit board themselves. Thank God they didn't stick with that model. Terrell requested that instead they deliver fully assembled computers as he was having trouble selling other kits to people who couldn't put them together themselves.
Hmm.
Hopefully IKEA is listening.
Somebody took advantage of that and set up Thumbtack because they could have had all that revenue, but they
Right.
they just weren't feeling their customers.
Yeah, task rabbit and uh,
Many years I had walked out of IKEA because I knew I couldn't lift it to the car or put it together.
yeah. By
Hmm.
insisting on a fully assembled computer, even though the Apple I still lacked a case, power supply, and keyboard, Terrell helped shape the future direction of Apple and the entire personal computer industry. The Apple II was the first personal computer to be manufactured and sold as completely assembled units, making them accessible to the average user, thus igniting the personal computer revolution. And with this, it brings up the point that you cannot succeed alone. Apple would not have become Apple without this obscure guy, Paul Terrell, just kind of mentioning, hey, you might want to make it so that it's already put together.
Hmm.
because I'm not doing DIY on stuff. It was bad enough when you get the blue screen on a PC, you're like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, you got to go in there and find out what was going on, Control Alt Delete, and da 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 da. And the computer was already together, but it was a lot of stuff
I'll tell you
happening.
the other thing that was frustrating was all those disks down, loading up those programs into the computer and putting them in a certain order and da da da. I was like, really?
It was a lot of work to be able to get your work done
Hmm.
back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of work. You had to make sure. Woo! So anyway, final story, December 9th, 1968, Douglas Engelbart and his team of researchers present a 90-minute public technology demonstration, including such innovations as hypertext, video conferencing, but most famously, the computer mouse. This is the first public demonstration of the mouse, witnessed by about 1,000 computer professionals in attendance. And that is your week in tech history.
Thank you so much, Fran.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to get started, with some, well,
Okay,
what
Terry.
I call human interest stories about
Mm-hmm.
different things going on. And one of the things I want to talk about is the use of artificial intelligence to handle a detection of breast cancer in
Oh.
some of these countries where people don't have the kind of access to healthcare that we have in the United States. So I want to share a video with you about what's going on in India. And let me get that going. And then let me go to full screen here. And I'm going to start this little video.
This simple new breast cancer test combines thermal imaging and AI. The inventors hope that it can make tests more accessible in places where mammograms aren't easily available or are considered intrusive.
People are like very much happy to do the test because they feel that no one is touching you. That is the first thing. They're like, as a female, I feel that no one should touch me or no one should feel me.
Women have to remove their tops and sit in front of the camera. It takes about 10 minutes and costs much less than a mammogram. So, what do the people being checked think?
Nice.
Easy.
No pain.
First time na, so little bit scared. But now the result is normal, so I'm happy.
In India, half of women with breast cancer don't survive it. One startup is trying to tackle this by getting more people tested earlier. The woman behind Niramai lost two cousins to the disease.
I really saw how badly breast cancer can affect life, a very, very close quarter. And as an innovator or a researcher in my heart, I started looking at this problem.
Her idea was to combine thermal imaging with artificial intelligence.
It's a radiation-free test that's privacy aware, and also it's very portable because the test can be taken to their homes and also buses and vans and so on and so forth.
Turn to the right.
The camera creates a detailed heat map of the breasts. These images are compared to thousands of others using AI. If it spots patterns which are typically found in cancer, the woman will be brought back for further tests.
I always dream, right? How we threw away polio from India. We should throw away breast cancer deaths from India at least.
So far, Niramai have tested over 60,000 women across India. They claim to be 90% accurate in detecting abnormalities. But many doctors in the West don't think thermal scans are reliable. The US FDA says mammography is the best screening method. However, it's hoped that these checks might reach people who wouldn't normally get any sort of breast cancer test.
Hmm.
I mean,
Terry, unmute.
I thought it was interesting that we have this technology that really is less expensive, portable, and can be used in rural areas or areas in other countries where they don't have accessibility to monography and things of that nature. And it's a lot less invasive. And
Hmm.
other cultures feel it's more user friendly. What do you ladies think?
Hmm.
I'm thinking, why is it that when we find something that works better with less pain, that people still want to argue? It's like, oh, well, it's not as good as it. No, let us
It's
move
better
forward.
than, how about better than nothing, Fran?
Hmm. Better than nothing.
The pain, the actual idea of pain free
free.
is a lot more. I'm like, okay, and we have had advancements. We can see with tech history that every time you make progress forward, it gets better. Well, most of the time, it gets better. Why can't we move forward in that instead of being subject to X-ray, which causes cancer?
Which we know has side effects. Okay, well, Mark says this. First of all, he says he's been accused of having artificial intelligence. However, his next comment is the technology is less expensive until it is licensed here. All medical treatments are less expensive outside of the United States. Because all she had was a camera and a tripod.
Hmm.
You know what this reminds me of? Star Trek with the tricorder, where you
Mm-hmm.
can detect what is going on without being invasive, without exposing them to X rays or radiation.
Mm-hmm. And,
Let's
and
let's go with
many cultures are very sensitive to disrobing and being pressed on,
Hmm.
it's like,
touched.
stop it. And did I
So
say painful? I was like, what the
it is
stop.
very painful. Mammography is painful. I don't care what anybody says.
Dr. Tachi?
You have-
You know, I didn't find it painful.
well, I want to know where you went
It was
because I need to talk to that doctor, to that technician.
um, it wasn't like I want to be in that for 24 hours a day, but I didn't find it painful at all. It was uh yeah, maybe the pressure and but I didn't find it painful.
Yes, you
Pressure.
had a good experience, Dr. Tachi.
Hmm.
I guess
Mhm.
so.
Well,
I was like, all right, what is this?
anybody on this screen who did not find it painful, raise their hand.
There are no
Okay,
hands raised.
so that
There are no
means that
hands for it.
75% of the population find it extremely painful in this short survey.
At least we got asked about a survey this time. Most of the surveys that come for, they don't ask us, they ask somebody else. But and especially if they wanted to do something to help women identify or whatever, I'm like, make it easy for people to come and take the test. Don't just complicate the thing.
And it's 90% effective in identifying issues.
Hmm.
That's a really good outcome.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I think it's something that we need to consider um,
We
adding
got to find
to.
somebody in the United States willing to do it.
Mhm, mhm.
Because we were talking to Frazier yesterday on our Instagram live, and healthcare outside of the United States is so hassle free.
And inexpensive.
Yep.
In some cases, it's free. National insurance. Um, so there you go. And the other thing that's disturbing to me is we have all of these cancer walks for breast cancer. All of this fundraising is going on. We find new technology and we're not adapting it. So what was the point? What's the point of all of this quote unquote research, et cetera, et cetera?
Because it's political and money driven, Terry.
Where is the money going? You
It
know what
ain't
I'm
going.
saying?
Well, shut up.
Yep. Political and money driven. Say that again.
Yep.
So
Yes.
there you go. All right, so let's shift. I want to shift to something positive, and this is about, um, finding help within the school system from community resources, ladies. So let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Mark says,
Yes.
"I'm not a Go ahead, Rand. Read that.
Mark says, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but cancer is big business. If there was a
Mm,
cure, it would be hard for it to actually come to light.
exactly, and they'd give it
Exactly.
at least 15 years of testing, right, Mark? Yeah,
And look at what
before
they
they can.
did with AIDS, HIV. There's I see all the commercials for all the medicines that they have to, keep them healthy and stuff. So the money's in the cure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not the cure, the treatment. Money's in the
In
treatment.
the treatment, because if you cured it and you didn't need
Right.
it,
The money's not in the cure. The money's in the treatment is what I meant to say. So
right, because we
Gotcha.
don't have polio anymore, so there are no polio
then
stuff.
pharmaceuticals, they need people to buy medicine. So
Oh, ask your
Wow.
doctor about
oh,
XYZ.
it's
Lord.
like in the when I watch the morning shows, there's like 100
The news.
million ads for and then I heard I have to double check that United States and New Zealand is the only countries that allow that kind of advertising on TV. Like every other country, you can't do that on TV. I gotta
Wow.
double check. I heard. Let me while you guys are talking, let me check because that is stuck out to me. I was like, really, United States?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Ask your
Okay,
doctor for this brand, for this.
I'll
Have
tell you
mercy.
my story about that in a minute. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay, so I'm going to share this story while TJ is checking on that. So let me set this up to share the screen. And I think this is a feel good story as far as I'm concerned.
When Southwood High had a problem with students fighting, they turned to Dad Power.
Y'all ready to have a good day at school?
The dads on duty are a team of volunteer fathers who mingle with the students, spreading positive vibes. It's led to a reduction in violence.
Go to class, go to class, go to class, go to class.
The dads are given a security vetting, but they aren't there to break up fights.
We come into the overall fold not to be security here. We come to bring positive presence because it is very difficult to learn in an environment where you have violence and people bullying you.
In 2021, there were a number of violent incidents at the school. So the teachers and parents got together to find a solution. They felt the students needed a positive male presence.
A child will listen to that male in their life before they listen to their mother. And there's no, I'm 5'3". I gotta have a presence, but I don't have a presence like a man.
And the students seemed to like the dads being around.
Most of the dads are like our race, so we just can connect more. I know they experience something that I didn't experience.
Cause they nice, you know what I'm saying? And like that's real good for them to come do things like that for us.
They know how to communicate better than the teachers and stuff.
70% of US schools reported violent incidents in 2020, but the dads think extra police isn't always the answer.
Like their friends might be like, man, you a snitch, because you sitting there talking to the police. I don't look at them as they bad kids. Are they disrupted? Yeah. At some time, are they loud and aggressive? Yeah. Only thing they want is love. Just somebody just tell them, hey, love you. Have a nice day.
The dads have lots of support in the local community.
Once those dads organized together and went and showed their presence at the schools, like a switch turned on and the fights just stopped.
There's been some more trouble at the school this term, but the mayor believes the dads are having a positive impact.
You got to be like living on Mars if you don't think there's distrust between the African-American community or low-income communities and police officers. And that's why fathers coming in is a completely different scenario.
They now plan to put dads on duty in all 58 schools across the city.
What do you think, guys?
Okay, so I like the idea of having the dads come in, positive role model. And my first thing is, well, how come I've never heard this story in the United States? This is BBC reporting.
I was just going to say that same thing because BBC, I've seen other things on BBC where they've gone over, they've come over here and done stories in high schools. I've seen tons of like series like that. So I was like, why is that like the BBC has to come over here and do that? And then it's over there on their news, but where is it here?
Because it's a great idea and it probably would spread throughout the country just like that if it got some airplay.
Right. And see what they do. This reminded me, and there's a series on CBS News that I saw that they did a series on handcuffing kids in school, like little kids.
Elementary school kids.
Little kids. They called the cops on them and they arrest them and everything, and the kids are screaming. They did a series last month. I gotta watch it. So I was like, they rather show that. Which, yes, they should because it's awareness, but then they don't show this kind of thing, which is kind of like the opposite. Like, because remember, he was saying something about he don't want the kids to get arrested. So,
right. Dr. Tachi, go ahead.
Yeah. So when we look at news here, it is actually very despicable that a whole other country needs to come in and cover the good things that are happening in the U.S. It's very despicable. And that's in part due to it's advertising. Remember, when news is there to inform, but news is only there to inform if advertisers want to advertise alongside that newscast, meaning it has ratings. So we also have to look at what are the things that American listeners and viewers have been programmed to watch and to care about, right? And what society has programmed them to watch and care about versus in other countries. Now, we have to also look at the fact when we look at news coverage in other countries, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, it's a lot more global. So the perspective of journalists and people in other countries is more global. This is why they can have a semblance of understanding of what's happening in other places. Whereas here, you're hard pressed to find a large amount of people who are very knowledgeable in terms of what's happening in other places. That has to do with what Americans tend to care about. My backyard takes precedence, and you can see that in news coverage, because what they do is they localize the story. So say, for example, there's an accident that involves a number of people being hurt in Indonesia. What they do, unless it's a really big catastrophic event, what they do is they always say, and among the injured were 5 Americans, because we only care if Americans are involved in most cases. So that has a lot to do with why our emphasis and our attention is on local first, then state and national, and then finally international, but usually only if it has something to do with us and not for the interest of knowing what happens in other countries. Whereas the emphasis is broader in terms of coverage and what people care about in the rest of the world. So that's not really an excuse, but that's an explanation.
Right.
Right.
Got a comment from Mark. He says, I love the concept, but I want to know how the dads are vetted. Some men are not necessarily added benefits, just saying. And I think they did mention that in the story that
they said they vetted them. He just said he wanted to know, how they were going about it. Well, something, somebody's going to always slip through the cracks. We got a lot of teachers that have been accused of different things. A lot of churches have been accused of different things. A lot of priests. Okay, so we do our best. Okay.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna fall through the cracks.
Right, but at least they're trying to make.
They're having a positive impact.
Right.
And
which is what the focus.
I am so tired of the PTA being run by mamas. Come on, can we get a daddy?
Get the dads in there. Yeah, get the dads in there. Good idea.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I wanted to mention about the drug advertising is Harvard Medical
Mhm.
School. They had I put the link there if you guys want to see it, but it's New Zealand and it's United States and New Zealand are the only countries where drug makers are allowed to market prescription drugs directly to consumers. So this started here in 1997. The FDA relaxed its guidelines relating to broadcast media and advertising of medicine. So
And it goes back to politics
yep.
and monetization because I'm telling you, I saw it firsthand. I took my mother-in-law to her eye doctor appointment, and we're in the back kind of sitting, waiting for the doctor to see her. And the lady walks in very nicely dressed. Oh, Dr. So-and-so, we have some samples for you to try with your patients. I was like, hold on, she don't have a license. She's not a doctor, but she's from she's a pharmaceutical rep.
Pharmaceutical rep, yeah.
And brought some.
That's what they do.
Some samples to try out on your patients. And let us know. Okay. See, I was like, wait, you don't have a license. You're not a doctor, but you're bringing.
You're not even a chemist.
No.
They're just a rep, a salesperson.
And your territory is this, so go around to all these doctors.
Go push this.
And then the doctors give it to the patients, and the patients come back and tell the doctor what happened. And so that we are the trial.
Yep.
The trial subjects now.
Well, and that's why there's not the big push for a holistic healing. Like you won't find, there are doctors obviously that are holistic doctors, but because everything is entangled together, meaning the pharmaceutical industry, many medical professionals, and then also the insurance industry, this is why you can get years ago, I had to get acupuncture, which by the way works. It is awesome. So I had to get acupuncture. Yeah, now, if I needed a medicine for that pain or whatever, I could probably have gotten it taken care of by insurance, but they would not pay for acupuncture, right? So even though that worked and it cured the pain, never had it again. It was like a spasm, went away as soon as I started having acupuncture.
Wow.
So it's just, yeah. So these natural and holistic medicine things, especially if they have been vetted and tested to be proven, it's interesting how insurance doesn't consider those proper treatments, and then so everybody's kind of all intermingled together. So just an interesting thought.
Right. Yeah. Mark says regarding pharmaceutical sales, have you watched Dope Sick on Hulu? Wow.
How you doing, Linda?
Hey, Linda. And doctors, and she said doctors, Linda Nance says, and doctors will discourage holistic methods. And they work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Absolutely. Because that's, if you are able to, we are about reactiveness and not proactiveness. So if you can prevent yourself from being sick through eating well, through exercise, through preventive measures, that doesn't really bode well for people that are making money off of illness. And we do profit off of illness in this country. And you hate to think that we could be so diabolical that is the case, but we are that diabolical. We really are, and it's sad.
It really is.
Ask your doctor about this. I was like, oh my God. And it gets younger and younger.
So
it does.
They first started out with older people. Now it's all the way down to 12. And if your child has ADD or ADHD, you should try this. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And side effects include going to beds, 2 eyes, breath, and all that.
Yep. So we're the only country that allows this advertising on TV and public and everything.
Wow.
So.
I had no idea.
In New Zealand. Yeah, I heard it I think it was this week or last week. It was one of those things, you're listening to the news and I'm hearing the story and I'm like, yeah. And then when they said that, I was like, what? Record scratch, what? So
Mark has a comment. He says, when I had kidney stones, my insurance would not pay for the diagnostic tests that would tell whether the surgery was required. It did pay for the reading of the test. It would have paid for the surgery to remove the stones, but not for the test to determine whether the surgery was necessary.
That is dumb.
So you don't get the other stuff if it's not necessary. What the
So
heck?
the doctor's supposed to go, wait a minute, let me read the mind and
Yeah,
test.
Because they were pushing the surgery.
Right. But not the test to determine it.
Right.
Wow.
So you don't know if it's necessary. That is just really backwards. It's
that's egregious. That is greedy and
crazy.
Very crazy. And that is why we don't take responsibility, like Dr. Tachi just said. If you don't take responsibility for your own health in your hands, it's not
agreed. Because like she said, there might be a holistic or a Eastern medicine or approach to it that the doctors aren't going to tell you about because they don't get paid for that.
Or a thermal technology which will give you some prevention.
Wow, I only have one word: crazy. That's the only way I can describe crazy.
And they're hoping that the masses will not. They're hoping that the masses will not look into it, and that's why we're bringing it to you here on BizChicks. But
my word is scandalous. Scandalous. Okay. All right, Jay.
I'm sticking with crazy. All right, you ready?
And Dr. Mark said, by the way, it was acupuncture that actually released the stones after they stayed in my body for several months.
Wow. This is good to know. Wow.
Yeah. Gotta love our country. All right, TJ, you're up.
Okay, so this week in social media news. Let's get started with it. Since we're in Clubhouse, we're going to mention Clubhouse, and Terralyn and I looked at this last week. We were remember after, and we were like, "There's something in Clubhouse." So that they've been beta testing houses, and they're calling it a new way to host meaningful conversations. And they're gradually rolling out this beta. It might be out already because this was last week's news. So Clubhouse says houses let users create a group of community members, fans or friends, through invites, and members of houses can host conversations and come together on a regular basis. There's also a text chat component to keep people who miss conversations. If you miss the conversation, you can stay in the loop with the text chat. The Clubhouse says that this allows the houses allow users of the app to create private groups where they can chat with other users. So
go back to private
group.
So we saw it, right? Because we went, and then Terralyn went and looked in, and then I went and looked in, and so they have something
right on the front page.
And
because I noticed it because Clubhouse looks so different, and then they were talking about these houses, and I'm like, what's going on? And they had a little explanation. I'm like, oh, this is what TJ was talking about. There's more and more privacy within apps.
Right.
So they don't have to go out and go set up a telegraph and all of these other things. They can stay right within the app with their current users and have private conversations.
Right. Because
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah.
So is that the same as the BizChicks? Because we have a little.
We have a group.
We have a group.
Right. But now they're having it's called houses. Well, I don't think the groups are turning into houses. I think the groups are still there, but now they've put the houses together.
The groups are still there. The houses are like for topics within your group. It's sort of like sidebars. It's like groups within Facebook.
So it's topical.
That's interesting because so we need to get a birdhouse is what we're talking about.
So let me see. Houses sounds to me, because the topical sounds like something that was called Google Plus way back in the day that nobody wanted to use, and I was like, Google Plus is the thing, and then they got rid of it too soon.
What happens if they bring that back? That would be genius.
They're not. Google's not. They should, but they're not. They're not.
Mark
Mark
has got
got a
you.
comment.
Mark said, "The House of BizChicks, please remove your shoes before entering."
Oh
I
my
gotta go over
goodness.
there and look at that and see what we can do about that. That's just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we have followers and things over there, that's really good.
I think the houses is more like if you did one for say Friday TikTok or TikTok or something like that. I think that would get it. It's a different attraction than from saying the
It's
bitch
like
chicks. You see what I'm
right.
saying?
category.
It
Right.
niches it down. It niches it down.
Right, because it's like you can, or like if people wanted to talk about the metaverse or NFT or what, they could just make it would be called that around the topic so people would instantly know. But some of the groups already say, what it is in the description, but some people aren't going to go click on the group and click on the description. So this might be a topical way to get, firsthand, like you go in the app,
To
boom.
discover. Yes.
Right,
The discovery.
discovery, boom.
Oh, and
So,
remind me to talk about some discovery that one TJ when you
okay.
finish or get to the close, because there's some discovery tools that we came across
Okay.
this week.
Oh, good. All right. All right. So next up we have Cameo. Remember Cameo? Cameo
Yeah.
now has a kid-friendly personalized videos from their wait a minute. Here it is. Popular animated characters like Thomas the Tank Engine, JJ Cody, Cece and Nina from Coco Million, Blippy,
Coco
True
Melon?
Electric
Oh, that is
True.
a big thing.
Yeah, so I don't know these characters, so that's why I'm like, I know
Well,
Thomas
I
the
know
Tank
Coco
Engine, but
Melon because I have a 3-year-old in the house. And Coco
okay, so
Melon
then
is the
so you
song.
know. So it's a place where parents and loved ones can book personalized cameo videos from these characters.
Ooh, that would be a good Christmas gift.
Right.
Hi, this is Coco Melon. Hi, Harmony.
Birthday, Christmas. They also have an animated Santa Claus. So they're saying parents and their children can get personalized birthday and holiday video greetings for $25 to $30. Video orders are usually delivered within 7 days. That's the company says. And here's a quote from Cameo co-founder and CEO. He says, "We've seen jaw-dropping fan reactions to Cameo videos over the last few years, and including truly wild children. So we're excited to spread even more of that joy with this new offering. We're building a platform where families can get their kids' favorite star to not just know their name, but share support for every important moment in their child's life, big and small." So Cameo partnered with Candle Media to help develop this Cameo Kids. The media company was co-founded by former Disney executives Kevin Mayer and Tom Stagg. So this has a Disney component to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so
now
once
you
they
can
get
have
that
all of
licensing.
the Disney characters can show up. Well, not Disney, but whoever.
Right. Now,
Keeps
yeah, not Disney, because this is somebody that worked with Disney, but you see the thought process from it. But Disney could easily do this themselves with their
Right.
characters.
Yes, I'm telling you, they got a winner with that Coco Melon thing because I'm telling you, she asked for it the minute she comes in from childcare. I want to see Coco Melon. Oh, okay. And all they're doing over there is counting and jumping rope and
But see, that's the thing. We
ABCs
were
and
talking about Sesame Street, and I forgot the man's name that died. He was not. Yes.
Yes.
And they were talking about, a lot of people were reminiscing about how they learned to their ABCs or this, their that from him and from Sesame Street. So you can see that there's that component where kids still need to learn. You don't stick the iPad in front of them. They still have to learn. So
can I add something really quickly, and not to go down a different trajectory, but it's interesting when we look at something like Coco Melon, which is like a younger child, but still. And then you look at that compared to a Sesame Street, which ranges, in age. But I think that part of the thing, like when you say you talk to some people now or some younger people now, and you ask them about a certain singer or whatever, they said, "No, I've never heard of that person." I'm like, "How do you not know?" But what I realized is that Sesame Street infused popular culture of things that we may not have known about, we weren't born for, but they infused it so that you're like you became aware of it. So
Right.
like I posted a little clip in honor of Bob McGrath of one of my favorite Sesame Street skits, the "Give Me Five," when they were doing the thing about the number 5. That was really a riff on the Temptations and all of these men bands of yesteryear. I wasn't around for them, but the thing is, by infusing that with learning, you not only are learning about the number 5, but you also are getting a little bit of throwback to what culture is like, the music from that culture, etc. So they were able to infuse that in, which is why, in addition to our parents listening to those types of things, you were able to experience it because they put it in children's culture as well.
Right.
Cocomelon and things don't really do that now. So it just hit me that the differences in understanding generations comes with that type of thing as well. It just hit me. I just had to put it in.
Yeah, that's a really good observation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, back to me. So Pinterest. Let's talk about Pinterest. Pinterest. So remember last week we were saying how all these platforms were sharing their year review, the year 2022, and their Spotify Wrapped and all. So Pinterest is sharing its 2023 trend predictions. So they have something called an annual Pinterest Predicts overview, which looks at the latest rising trends that are set to become even more significant over the next year. So they look forward instead of looking back. So this is based on user behavior, including pin save boards and creating an overall search activity. So they've been doing this for 3 years. They say that their prediction reports are 80% accurate based on how they measure it. So the top theme and trends that Pinterest predicts will rise in 2023. Let's listen. Fashion. So there's different fashion styles. They're calling it airy styles and something called rom-com core. And so they break down it, and it's about fashions and Gen Z and millennials. The next one is home. So people want to embrace the historic home trend. There's something about mushroom trends and something called weird core decor. The next one is celebrations. Gen X and baby boomers are turning attention to their fur babies. Those are the pets, and they're having parties and all kind of things for your pets. So they're saying in 2023, pool parties will be for the dogs. So they're saying, people are going to celebrate their pets more. And well-being. Now I talked about this one a lot, and I was like, I didn't call it well-being. I was just saying mental health issues and raising your vibe, your everything like that. So they're saying well-being is one of the categories that's going to grow in 2023. So they said people will trade their screens for stretches and their desks for tricep dips with searches around primal movement. And it's not just about fitness, it's more about improving your mental health and stuff. And we see that, you see that a lot. I mean, if you pay attention, you see a lot of talk about that online. So that's one of the trends, well-being. So Pinterest is saying these are some of the things that are going to be big in 2023 based on their, what's going on in the app. So that's Pinterest. Let me go Snapchat. Let's talk about Snapchat. Snapchat launches a new Bitmoji clothing drop in partnership with Adidas or Adidas, or however you want to say it. So
she said Adidas.
Yes, some of them say it's supposed to be Adidas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah.
Adidas.
Yeah, Adidas, but we I grew up my Adidas. So thank you, Run DMC. That's what they called it. So that's what I call it, but it's Adidas. And right.
Woo!
So Snapchat and Adidas have teamed up to release a new line of exclusive Bitmoji clothing, which will be purchased using tokens in the app. So here's the quote. So remember, Snapchat is doing a lot of AR trying on of different items, and then you buy through the app. So they're saying we're excited to announce the first ever Bitmoji drop in partnership with Adidas that allows Snapchatters to use tokens to claim an exclusive into the metaverse. That's the quote, the phrase, track jacket until Friday. Well, that's today. Snapchatters can claim an exclusive Adidas ITM track jacket in the brand's recognizable yellow colorway, featuring the Adidas Web3 logo and black stripes on the sleeve. So I was going to go in and look, but I didn't get a chance. So you'll be able to buy this track jacket for 250 Snap tokens. Tokens are purchasable in the app and can be exchanged for goods within Snapchat's various shops and offers. So you buy the tokens in different packages, like the different prices. So they're saying that Bitmojis are being used by over 250 million people every day. So I was like, okay, that's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of people. They're saying over a billion Bitmoji avatars have been created. So they're pushing this because we're talking about the metaverse and doing Web3 stuff. So this is where Snapchat is going. They're looking at their AR lenses and also AR shopping.
See, the whole shopping thing, they give you the plain Jane clothes for your Bitmoji. And then if you want to upgrade, you got to pay.
Buy the tokens.
You got to buy tokens.
And now you have to let's talk about this, like, because okay, people are, on our age level, I'm like, I'm not buying that. But this is, think of who uses Snapchat.
Right.
Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're used to buying things in Roblox and Minecraft and Fortnite. Yes. They're used to buying things for their avatar. So that's not a foreign concept to them. To me, I'm like, I don't want to buy. I'm not buying nothing for my Bitmoji.
But see,
she can stay with whatever she wearing.
But when you go out on a personal level, you don't want to look like everybody else. That's one of the things we do when we're shopping. Well, when you're in the virtual world, you don't want to look like everybody else.
Right. So this, I'm trying to. Why would I want to buy an Adidas jacket? I would want to buy one in real life, not for my Bitmoji.
So, but isn't what I believe what they're saying is that you can use the tokens. It's going to cost you $250 if you bought it in real life, right? Is that the $250? I'm thinking that better be real life.
Token. They're just saying that you can buy the track jacket for 250 Snap tokens.
No, we don't know how much the Snap tokens cost.
I thought there was like a real jacket that I
a real jacket. So let me check real quick for this.
It sounds like, okay, if I'm paying $250 for a jacket, I want it real.
Fran,
I don't even know where to go to find this thing. I guess I would have to go to my Bitmoji, which
and you compared this to paper dolls, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I found it. Bitmoji changed my outfit. Here it is. Adidas drop. Here I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see the little Adidas.
It's lime green or light green or whatever. It says claim and wear 250 tokens. I have 11 hours and 58 minutes to buy this limited edition. Adidas. Adidas. So if I tap on it, okay, so it says welcome to the Snap token shop. Use tokens to claim exclusive limited edition Bitmoji fashions by tapping yeah. Okay, so that.
Okay, so how much is a token?
Okay, 250 tokens is $2.99.
How many?
Wait, say it again.
The jacket costs 250 tokens.
Right.
I have to buy 250 tokens. It's $2.99.
$2.99.
$2.99. Now, if I buy 500 tokens, it's $4.99. 1,100 tokens is $9.99. And I mean that $2.99, that's like kind of average.
Okay, so it's
usually like 99. You can buy levels like 99 cents, $1.99, $2.99.
And I'm just with you, TJ. I'm like, I refuse to give you $3 for a jacket that I cannot put on in real life.
So Snapchat says, what are Snap tokens? Snap tokens can be purchased from inside the Snapchat app. Tokens can be redeemed for gifts to send to creators, and they can also be redeemed for digital goods within games to upgrade your gameplay experience, just like in all the other.
Okay, yes. So
and that is a real good source of revenue,
Yeah.
because all of
Oh, I
these
can
kids are
design.
about to get Christmas money. They gonna spend $3 on that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Dr. Tachi, I think you can put some of your wear in there. I buy
mm-hmm,
that for my avatar because
That would be
uh-huh,
cool if Snapchat did that to where creators could make their own merch,
to
digital
put it.
merch
Yeah.
or whatever merch for the Bitmoji, and then you would share and they would get their cut and you would get so yeah, that's pretty cool.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would buy that from her because some of the stuff that they got me wearing over there, I'm like, come on, y'all.
Like I'm with you. It's like, look, if it doesn't exist already, I'm not buying it. But whatever two color outfit you have, if that's what I'm going to wear, I'm not saying more. But this also goes into the realm of like wearables, like for NFT wearables and things you can wear in the metaverse. Even though this is not that per se, it is an avatar. So it's approaching that, and it is an indication that people realize that this is important, that people view avatars as an extension of themselves.
Right.
And they are wanting to spend money to do it. Because here's the thing. With me, I always go to the First Meta Church on Sundays.
Yes.
I think I don't get up early to change my outfit. I don't keep on the same thing on my avatar. So sometimes I end up being late because of getting dressed. And this is in the metaverse. So there's no earthly reason I should be late. Sorry. But
right.
It's that same type of thing where people see it as an extension of themselves.
Right.
And they're wanting to express their, what their personality is through dress. So
right.
In the world, somebody's paying $3 for a jacket, damn it.
Yeah, I know some people that bought it, and like I said, this applies more to that age bracket. Remember, I think Snapchat is 13. I have it here. 13 to 20, 90% of the 13 to 24-year-old population, and I had some more stats. So there, this is 13. We're talking 13 to 34 in 20 countries, and 80% of the U.S. Gen Z population.
See, when I go into the metaverse, I went into VR chat, I think it was. I'm like, I am not going to be anime characters. I need something that looks more like me. And so I'm like, look, we're going to have to find something else. So I went
so this is a little off track. Speaking of what you just said, there's a popular app called Lenza. Has anybody heard of it? It's been popular in the last few weeks. A lot of celebrities. It's AI. It's text AI to make graphic images. You know about that? So Lenza lets you make an AI image that looks more like you than say the other tools that make all of these futuristic looking things. So this has been popular in the last week or so. Everybody's using the app Lensa, Lensa.
Hasn't that been in the news as an issue?
Yeah, in the last week or so. So that's where you make the avatar that looks like you, but it's AI generated. It's real pop. Everybody's putting them everywhere. Like all the celebrities are putting themselves everywhere. So then, of course, the celebrities doing it, and then everybody else is doing it. So I think if you go to Instagram and like put in Lenza, you'll see.
You'll see that they're gonna get mad when they see their avatar in a movie somewhere in Indonesia. Well, I'm like telling people to really be careful with using Lenza and apps.
Yes.
We already know AI can be very helpful. It can also be used for other things. And the thing is, you're putting in a selfie, right?
Yes.
A selfie is your likeness. That's your IP. And you have to read the terms. Like I went and I read the terms of service because I just had this conversation. So I'm like, are you all reading the terms of service of what they can do with this and that type of thing? So it's not that it's anything out of the norm, but this is AI, and when you give them permission, you're helping their AI algorithm learn. So your then is stored amongst all of that. You don't know what they're going to do with your face. So I'm like, if you want to do that, up to you.
Right.
Agreed. And I noticed because when I looked at my phone, I already had the app, but I deleted it just for the exact reason that Dr. Tati said, because it's like you have to take a selfie, and what are they doing with that selfie? And I was just like, you know what? I said I must have deleted it for a reason. But now it's just
Mhm.
everybody's using it. So if you go to Instagram, you can see what kind of things people are doing. But you have to take it. It does take it takes a selfie. You have to take a selfie, and
Mhm.
then it does everything to you. And Dr. Taji is 100% correct. Like, what are they going to do with that image? What are they going to do with the AI generated image? All those things. So it's popular now. It's
Right.
like the thing, like in
Mhm.
the last week or so.
Mhm.
This app, Lenza.
Well, thank you for revealing that to us. So now we won't be out there just doing stuff
It's
without
not
reading the
yeah, I
terms of
saw it in the
agreement.
talk was ramped up this week and last week. I was like, what's this Linda? So I looked at my phone. I was like, oh, I had
Yeah.
already done it because in the App Store, if you've already installed something and you go to
Yes.
reinstall, it has a cloud icon with a,
Yeah.
With
a
the
down
arrow.
arrow. Right. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I must have deleted this for a reason. So let me not put it back. And I just went about my business. But you're going to see this. It's going to get bigger now because it was on the news. And so everybody's going, ooh, the AI, I can
Yeah,
do
and you need to read the articles surrounding the controversy.
yes.
Mhm.
Right.
So
And so yeah, so I
you
created
can
my little
download and try it if you like. But, I don't, I remember deleting it for some reason a while back. So,
so I just went and created me something over on Ready Player Me and but I can't put it anywhere I want.
right.
That was the other thing.
They won't let
I
you
was like,
take it
"Dang
out.
it. I can only put it in places where they have gotten permission
Connection.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can't put it
Right.
Mm.
Permission.
like I want to use it on Metaverse uh alt space or whatever. Can't
Yeah.
put it
Mhm.
there. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm with Dr. Tachi. I'm in the same outfit, working out as I was, whatever. That's it.
And see, the thing is about this song, Lenza, if you have Photoshop or, there's some other Photoshop like tools, you can do some skills and take a selfie yourself and do it on your computer and do some graphical things. There's some filters in Photoshop. So it won't
Mhm.
look exactly like Lenza, but if you're talking about, well, I'm going to take me and digitize it or whatever, Photoshop has some things that does it already. So.
Can I also quickly add that the other thing besides your likeness with Lenza that is an issue and that whole privacy and IP thing, the other thing is that what it's doing, the app is taking photos from, images rather from places like Pixabay, all over the place.
Yes.
Pinterest. It's an aggregator of those type of things, and it's just superimposing your likeness into these. So it's neat, and a lot of the pictures that I've seen are beautiful, but
Right.
the original creators getting credit for their works. Because what happens is if you do something like, it's one thing if they're taking it from something like a Creative Commons, which has licenses that allows you to use the things in there and allows you to remix it depending on the license. This is not it. So what's happening is not only is your IP being used how God knows how, but also the creators of the original work who haven't given permission for any remixing and are not being paid for this at all. And by the way, apparently after a trial, you do have to pay for this.
Yes.
So they're making money and they haven't gotten damn permission from any of the original artists. So it's problematic in two senses.
Agree. I agree. So that's why I said any app that wants to take a selfie of me, I'm really leery of. There's only like two things that I've done, and both of them have involved like buying, like Warby Parker buying glasses. Like on my app, they take a picture, but it's for the lenses for to see how how the glasses look. Other than that, I'm like, you want my selfie?
So I was helping Terry. You remember when we created the little thing for Harmony, and all I
Yes.
did was put a filter on the thing to make it look more like a comic or something else, and I was like,
that's all you do.
we have that in Canva on your own stuff.
Yeah, it's in Canvas and Photoshop. It's most of the photo editing software that you have. They have filters that does that. You can even go online and buy like I forgot what the word is. What is the word? Templates and stuff that will plugins that will go into Photoshop and do it like that. Like if it's 20 steps to do in Photoshop, you buy the plugin and it does it in one step.
Right.
So you
And
can
I
get
used
that.
Didn't Apple have something like Snap or something where you could put the people on your shoulder and you could change the filter to a comic book look?
Yeah,
Or
the clips,
yeah,
Apple clips.
clips. That's it.
Apple clips.
So you can still do what Lenza is doing, maybe not to the degree they're doing it, but you can still do it
It's
yourself.
just popular because the celebrities started doing it, and then people follow celebrities, and then they're like, "Oh, the lens," and then like Dr. Taji says, that there is a cost involved in using the Lensa apps. I'm like, again, I don't want to. I don't care.
We know, and we know what great leaders these celebrities are.
Yeah. So I'm like, again, another thing that I don't care about the Snapchat Bitmoji. She can keep her plain Jane outfit. I don't care. The Lensa, I saw the buzz because you can, the buzz. And if you go to Buzz, if you follow BuzzFeed, they keep up with these trending things too. So it was like, okay, this is the little buzzy thing that everybody's doing Lensa. And I'm like, yeah, okay, this will be over in a few weeks. It'll be done.
Another reason not to follow celebrities into a volcano. They are people just like us. I'm sorry, they may be very talented actors, singers, or whatever, influencers, whatever it is they do, but they're still human and still people. I can guarantee you probably 1.0000001% of the celebrities who started using it read the terms of service. The only one that I saw that was like, be careful, and posted something of it was Sheila E.
Okay.
So she was the only one that was like, look now.
Yeah.
So I was like, thank you for having sense, Sheila.
Thank you. Somebody, you're right. Somebody needs to say that because they're just like a celebrity does it, and it's this hot buzzy thing online, and people just trendy, and people just going, okay, install the app, don't read the terms of service, take a selfie. Any app that takes a selfie, be careful of that. Be very careful.
And because we're talking about, and especially if you said that you were concerned about your privacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because the celebrity is hot and it's trending and the celebrities are doing it, they just throw all that out the window. This is another reason why I like Barb on Facebook. What is Barb?
Bob Tomlinson.
Yes, she always goes through the terms of service with a fine-tooth comb, and she always like if we're in your group, you're in her group, she will go, "Oh, I read the terms of service of this," and blah 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 blah. So I'm like, okay. And I was gonna send her a link, ask her if she had looked at Lensa, but I had looked at my phone and saw that it was gone, and I said I must have gotten rid of it for a reason. So
right,
but
and the terms of service are not, happy reading, but
it's a lot of
You need to go through that, and
I know it's not enjoyable, but that's like what was when the Twitter stuff started happening, and they said, "Oh, go sign up for."
It
some
was
app.
It was something.
I forgot what it was. And on Twitter, somebody posted the terms of service and said, "Oh, don't download that because they're doing this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Whoop!" I didn't download it. So
Post. It was something.
Was it Post?
I don't think it was Post. It was another one,
else.
but it was like
it was something else. And then some. When you do a little research, you see these little things pop up. There's some helpful people out there doing the work.
And it didn't look like a lawyer had written the terms of service. It looked like
the language was like, this looks like somebody just sat down and just wrote stuff out of their head. It didn't have the legalese that it needed to have. So that's another clue. But just be careful. And then of course you watch, come here on Fridays and or watch a replay for Tech Talk Fridays here on the BizChicks, and you'll be caught up.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on. One more from Snapchat. Snapchat is testing a new story boost option with Snapchat Plus subscribers. So this is to help Snapchat Plus subscribers gain more visibility for their content in the app. So it's called Story Boost, and it's going to amplify their stories to more viewers. and it says the friends won't be informed that you've used the option, so they won't know that you paid. You paid to boost your post. So it's like a boosting a post on Facebook, and you get. It's saying that how it probably work is that your story is given priority and displayed among the first stories for each of your contacts every day. Because when you go into Snapchat, it's like Instagram. There's little bubbles, little circles, and who you interact with all the time, that bubble, that circle is first. So that's how it works on Instagram stories. Where the interaction is between you and the other person, you see their story circle first, because you have to scroll. There's a whole bunch of stories from people you follow, but the ones you interact with the most are front and center. So this is probably how it would work, and this is a part of Snapchat Plus. You remember what was it? $2.99, $3.99 a month. So if that's what you want, head over to Plus. All right, so let's go over to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is rolling out 3D avatars. So these avatars can be used as profile photos or custom stickers. So they're saying your avatar is a digital version of you that can be created from billion combinations of diverse hairstyles, facial features, and outfits. So what does it sound like? Bitmoji. So here you go again. People want to, jazz up their little avatar and whatever. So I really don't care, but some people do. Here's another app: WhatsApp, Snapchat, Instagram. Okay, so all right, let me make sure I want. Oh, YouTube. Let me get YouTube in there. YouTubes are doing a lot of stuff. YouTube is adding chat emotes. They're little emotes are little stickers, and they could go in the live chat.
I've seen those.
You seen those? So it's a new chat stream engine engagement option called YouTube emotes. It enables viewers to share little graphics with their comments on clips. It makes your comments stand out if it's a live where there's lots of people and you want to get the attention of the person doing the live. So they got this from Twitch. So Twitch has emotes. So it's another engagement option to get more expression within the chat screens. Here's YouTube's quote: "We're starting with emotes created for gaming, but are working on bringing even more themes of emotes in the future. So stay tuned for emotes for even more communities." And let's see, yeah, they're doing something else called overdubbing, called Aloud. So it's overdubbing your YouTube content into another language called Aloud, ALOUD, Aloud. The process can take a video in English and translate it into several other languages. So YouTube says this could be a great way for you to expand your audience reach, because you're putting your video in front of people who don't speak English or whatever language you're speaking. Here's the quote: "You can dub a video with Aloud in a couple of hours, and it comes at no cost. This tool might be one of the easiest way to expand your audience because 80% of the world doesn't speak English." Now there's a wait list for this Aloud, so they have a link, and I think it's on YouTube. Let me see. Oh, it opens a Google Doc form. I don't want to do that. So it opens up a Google Docs form, and then you can get on the wait list if you want that Aloud. And one more thing, YouTube is giving Shorts creators the capacity to choose a frame from their clip as their thumbnail within the Shorts creation process, and they're starting with Android users. Now, what this is that you can put the thumbnail when you're doing the Shorts within the mobile app, but you can also go on the desktop after you've uploaded a short and you've saved it in drafts or wherever it is, and then you can put a thumbnail through there like the normal process when you're putting a thumbnail on your other YouTube video. So now Shorts, they're doing it within the mobile app instead of you having to upload something and go back around.
Right.
So people are looking for that. So they're starting that test with Android users. Sorry, iPhone, you have to wait.
Yeah.
And yeah, you gotta wait. And Amazon is adding a TikTok live feed of shoppable content. Don't you just love it? So Amazon is another company that's following the TikTok playbook. So they're launching a new feed in the Amazon app with photos and videos of items users can purchase. So it's called Inspire. So it's going to be within the Amazon app, and it'll be an extra icon at the bottom menu. I went in and looked at it and was like, oh, I don't have it. But they're doing a beta test, so they're not giving it to everybody. So it will be a new short form video and photo feed that allows consumers to explore products and ideas and shop from content created by influencers, brand, and other customers. So if you got that Amazon, what's the Amazon Live for creators where you go on and do the live stream? There's a name for it. It's escaping me. But so if you do that, you might have a chance to go in with this Inspire and be a part of, you're selling your items with your live stream. So here's a way to get exposure. So Amazon said the shopping feature will roll out to select customers in the U.S. this month. So it's rolling out and will become broadly available to U.S. customers in the months to follow. So it's within the Amazon app. So if you have the Amazon app, like the shopping app, open it up, it'll be a light bulb icon at the bottom menu.
Yeah, Terica Baker says here from Clubhouse, she says Amazon influencer.
Right, that's it. Thank you. Amazon influencer. So if you're an influencer and you got your live stream thing set up and you're doing live streaming and links to products and stuff, so this is a way to get exposure to what you're doing. Amazon says the feed will better customize itself as Inspire learns more about the user's interests by tracking their engagements and likes. So they plan to add more shoppable features to Inspire, as well as additional in-app functionality and content to improve the product Inspire. So be on the lookout for that. Amazon Inspire. Now I'm gonna save that. Let's talk about Twitter, because Twitter is not really, they're not updating and putting out PR and saying we did this, we did that, because Elon Musk is the private owner. So he does what he wants. So you have to follow him on Twitter, which I don't, but I see his tweets. So he had 2 tweets I'm going to mention. So he says Twitter will soon start freeing the namespace of 1.5 billion accounts. These are obvious accounts deletions with no tweets and no login for years. What this is that if someone created a Twitter account and abandoned it like 5 years ago or whatever, and you want that handle, you couldn't get it because the person kept the account. So now they're saying they're going to free that up. So they're saying account deletions with no tweets and no login for years. This is his words. I don't know how many years. So and another tweet, Twitter is working on a software update that will show your true account status, so you know clearly if you've been shadow banned, the reason why, and how to appeal. Those are his 2 tweets for the week.
Okay, because I can see why one thing is good, because we've been trying to get our name, and this person is
has the account, doesn't use it,
hasn't used it, and there's no way to follow them,
right?
Or to contact them to even get the name.
Okay.
So
right. So he doesn't. There's no details on how old the account is or whatever. These are his tweets. So that's all from Twitter. And let's see. Before I get this, I'm saving TikTok for that. Okay, let's talk about Instagram, because I was just talking about shadow banned. So if you don't know what shadow ban is, this is a thing on Instagram where they're saying that Instagram blocks you because you use certain hashtags and they suppress your posts. Some people say, oh, there's no such thing as a shadow ban. Some people say, yeah, there's a shadow ban. So Instagram says, hey, wait a minute. We're going to clear this up. We're going to put an option into your profile that will tell you when your posts have been shadow banned. So they're saying that these are posts that are blocked from Explore and other recommendations. So basically they're saying your post isn't being pushed out so other people can see it. So Instagram has a new transparency tool, and I did a little YouTube short on this too. So it's inside the account status hub. So if you don't know where the account status hub is, where you go to see what's going on with your account as far as Instagram, giving you strikes or telling you to stop this or that or negative or well, not positive, negative stuff. So it's the account status hub that you go and see if any of your content has been suppressed or you're falling afoul of the recommendation guidelines. Adam Mosseri put out a video, so if you follow him, he put one out this week explaining it. So it says that this account status hub is to make it easier for users with professional accounts like businesses and creators. So if you have a business account or creators account, you'll see this. If you just have a regular one, you won't see it. And it's to understand if your content is eligible to be recommended to non-followers in places like Explore, Reels, and Feed recommendations, or if you violate the company's recommendation guidelines, which is their policy, terms of service, and things. So account status hub is where you find out if your account is in good standing. Account status lets users see any content that has been removed from their account, appeal those direct decisions directly via the app, and see if they're at risk of losing their account. So that's where you go to see if you're shadow banned. They will tell you if they've suppressed your posts or done anything because you've run afoul of their guidelines or you've done something wrong. They will reprimand you. It will be there on their account status. Got that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Instagram says the goal of the updates is to help users understand issues with their accounts. They plan to keep improving this account status hub to cover more areas of the app, such as search and suggested accounts. They also want to add more ways for users to understand and fix issues that may affect how they reach non-followers. So because of the confusion of the shadow ban and not shadow ban, so Instagram said, hey, we're going to give you this section in your profile to go see if you've done anything wrong. It's like the in YouTube, the strike,
right?
It's not the strike. It's oh, what is it? I'm losing it. Then they send you an email. What is it? I want to say counterfeit, not counterfeit.
Copyright claims.
Copyright. That's it. Copyright claim. This is Instagram's way of letting you know if you have a copyright. That was it. Copyright strike. Whenever you do something against YouTube terms with your channel, they will send you an email or they will mark the video and they'll take the video out and it won't be public, but they let you know. So this is Instagram's way to do that. So people won't have to guess if they're shadow banned. So there's a whole thing about shadow ban. Another thing from Instagram, they're testing new DM labels to help you manage customer interactions in the app. And I just lost my spot. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. So they have a new set of message labels for business accounts. Makes it easier to manage customer interactions in your DM. So there's 5 new labels. There's flagged, booked, ordered, paid, and shipped. So those will be in your messages, and you can you'll be able to add or categorize the messages. So this is a simple way to stay on top of critical interactions for your brand. So the new labels will add to Instagram existing business DM features, including welcome messages and save replies. Businesses on Facebook can also add similar label to their chats, but they're a little different in Facebook, is what they're saying. So they're doing a limited test of these 5 labels for Instagram DMs for business accounts. And also from Meta adds new creator monetization options for the holidays. So they've added a new set of creator monetization incentives and tools for the holidays. So what they're doing is they're enabling stars on all public Facebook content, including Reels, and running events through the month to encourage users to purchase stars. So what they're doing is they're expanding stars across Facebook in a limited test with select creators. So they'll be able to receive stars on all public content. So stars are like the super chats, or where you can buy little gifts and the money goes to the creators. So they're doing something called Star Party Bonus for the month. Also, something they're having a sale on stars. So the deal will be offered across live, on demand, and reels. Users can get stars at a discount depending on how many they purchase. Now, remember the stars, and we were just talking about the tokens on Snapchat. So this is where you go and you buy, you go in and pay for a set amount
Mhm.
of stars, and then you can give them to the creators, your favorite creators, when they're doing a live or a reel or what have you. They're also lowering the payment threshold. So yeah, so for U.S. based creators to get paid from, they're moving it from $100. So it was like you had to have $100 of all of this stuff from the people that watch you, and then they would pay you out at $100. Now they're moving that to $25. So this is revenue earned through stars and Facebook subscriptions. They're also going to lower the payment threshold for additional Facebook monetization products in the coming weeks. So they're raising it, they're lowering. So you had to have $100 and you would get the cash. Now they're saying you have to have $25 in your bank, and then they give you the cash. They're also doing some tests across Facebook, including free stars. So Meta is giving some fans free stars to send on eligible creators' Facebook Reels. They're also doing ads on Facebook Reels. They're continuing to test ads on Facebook Reels. So they're overlay ads on top of the banner, and post loop ads, which show after a reel loops. They're also doing something with subscriptions. They're adding new, easier ways for creators to promote Facebook subscriptions. There's a new subscribe button on Facebook Watch. So if you're watching Facebook Watch, you'll be able to see that subscribe button. And the last thing they're doing, Meta is opening up live agent assistance with monetization issues for creators in the US with 10,000 followers or more. Here's the quote: "We're expanding access to live chat agent support for eligible creators on pages and professional mode in the US with 10,000 or more followers, connecting creators with live support to help resolve their monetization issues." So, Facebook is famous for not having a person or a number to call for support. So they're adding this for creators, this live support, live chat agent support. And this is for creators who have 10,000 followers or more. So you'll be able to talk to someone and get your issue resolved. And the last thing we're going to talk about is TikTok. TikTok has had some, their issues with privacy, and our government is looking at them. So, 5 U.S. states are banning TikTok from government phones. Texas, Maryland, South Carolina, and South Dakota joined Nebraska in banning this app. So Texas banned TikTok from government devices, becoming the 5th state to do so. So they're saying that they're citing TikTok's Chinese ownership as a national security risk. And they are so they're saying also federal agencies such as Department of Defense, State, and Homeland Security have each banned TikTok from its employee issued devices. Now we talked about like who would ban TikTok. Like it wouldn't come from the president, it might come from Congress, but they have a committee on foreign investment in the US. So that they're saying that would be the government entity that would ban it, and they're in the middle of doing a national security review of the app. So they have the power to block corporate takeovers, reverse deals, or force foreign owners to divest from assets if they pose a threat to U.S. national security. Okay, so these states are blocking it from government phones.
Mm-hmm.
And this committee on foreign investment has been investigating them TikTok for a while. So what do we think of that?
Look, I don't think that the social, the things that we do for fun and what have you, like TikTok, is not necessarily a productivity tool that's going to help you build I mean, it can, but for the government, with the issues that it's having, I don't think government entities should have it on
Right. Exactly.
on the devices. Hey, Arvin Poole, Dr. Tachi Arvin says hello. He's in our clubhouse.
Hey, Arvin.
Hey, Arvin.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's the latest with TikTok and the investigation and what's going on. Because remember, we were saying the FBI recommended that it be banned. Some of the I forgot who Congress people were saying that it should be taken out of the App Store, it should be taken out of the Google Play Store. TikTok told Europe that, hey, we're using your data. Nothing you can do about it. So if you continue to use the app, you're agreeing to it.
When I see that's just bold right there. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they were like, hey, if you keep using TikTok, you agreeing to
that
it.
we're using your stuff. So
right. And part of this was that they were using the geolocation data to track Americans, and there's a whole like other part of this that we don't even know what they can do with this data. So there's an investigation going on. We've said, TikTok's a great tool for discovery right now. But it's like, okay, do you want to use it or not? I think somebody suggested that they use it on a burner phone, which is a great idea.
They use it on your main line where you getting off, especially maybe do like the government is doing it. Don't use it on a phone that you use for business with sensitive
connect your personal client, your personal. Because TikTok is a great tool for discovery. Is because it's the popular app. People are using it and talking about it. People are there searching for things. I think I read this week that hold on, let me see real quick. There's a new report that says young people are increasingly turning to TikTok for news content. So they're going there to search. So they're not going to they're moving away from Google to search, and they're going to TikTok to search. Like that's their first place they go, because they're already there for entertainment. So then they go, oh, let me search for news, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because then you have people that are on TikTok that are not like true journalists who investigate the story. They just go out with a rumor or whatever, and they could start things like that way. So it's not that great.
It is not great at all, because they had something. It is very interesting that you can put up something that is totally false, make it appear very, very real on TikTok, and people buy into it.
Right.
Like there is a
like the pink sauce. Remember we were talking about the lady that made the pink sauce, and people getting sick and all that other stuff. So, but I think if legitimate, whatever you want to call legitimate news sources are there, if you're following them, then I think you might be okay. But if you're just following people, because there are people there that they green screen stories and they talk about stuff and this and that and other thing, I'm like, well, are you a real journalist? Because you have to check you have to fact check and know what you're talking about. So that's what's going on. So Gen Z is using it for entertainment, turning into searching, turning into news, and not going to CNN and not going to other news places that are, or MSNBC, any kind of legitimate news source, New York Times. They're not doing that. New York Times is there, but you should follow them, or any, the Washington Post, the LA Times. Like if you're following them, yes, you're going to get the true story, or depending on
closer to the truth than you would be for somebody reenacting something on TikTok.
Right. So everybody's got a microphone now on TikTok or a smartphone, so they're doing news stories. They're doing stories like they're,
it's opinions.
Yes, it's opinions. So I think TikTok should do something about it, but then they don't care.
They don't.
They don't care.
And they are privately held too. They are not.
Right. In another country. So these are all things that it's going to start bubbling up and boiling up for us over the next year or so. I don't think TikTok is going to go away like right away, but there are just, you could see the steps that our government is taking to say, hey, we're investigating it seriously and things are happening.
I'm
So you gotta
wondering
kind of,
when is it going to leave the UK? Because that was like a gauntlet. Like, oh, we're doing this, and you just
well, the
like
UK got their own little problems over there that that's a big story there.
If it
And then
leaves the
politics.
UK, if it leaves the UK, I'm like, huh.
Yeah. So I mean, these are just things that we need to watch. I would say use. I'm not saying be afraid of it, use it, but the best suggestion that was someone, I think it was someone on Clubhouse that said they use it on a burner phone. So, because it's a good way to get exposure, get attention, get your brand out there, your business out there. You know, you do your call to action, you have them go to your link, and you do business that way. And then, I say ride the car until
the wheels fall off.
Yeah, until the wheels fall off, until they stop us at the border. Like you want to go to Mexico, they stop you at the border. So
like, nope, can't go further.
Yeah. So, and that's still week in social media news.
Woo, that's a lot of work. That was a lot. Thank you, TJ. It was really good.
Some of it was down to the wire, like this morning, like the Amazon thing was today.
Yeah.
That came out today.
All right. Dr. Tachi, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I will try to quickly get through some of these things because I know it's almost 1 o'clock. So let's start. If you didn't know, the New York Times journalists and some others have staged a walkout. And this happened yesterday. About 1,200 New York Times journalists and the New York Times Guild began a 24-hour strike yesterday at midnight after months of bargaining with management to reach a new contract actually just fell flat. So the previous employee contract expired in March of 2021. So these Times journalists are also joining employees at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, many of whom have already been on strike since October, and journalists at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram who've been on strike since November 28th. So this is what the New York Times Guild is arguing. They're saying that the paper is flourishing economically, which New York Times is. They're one of the few newspapers that is flourishing economically, but profits have been shared fairly with the workers. So the Times employers on strike plan to they did protest yesterday outside the company's headquarters in Manhattan at 1 p.m. So I need to find out. I haven't seen anything in terms of an update of what's come out of that, but I will let you know once I know. So Times journalists encourage readers not to engage with any Times products during the strike. That means reading about Brittany Griner's release elsewhere. And then, Wordle is a big thing. I don't know how many of you play Wordle, but they were, not encouraging people not to play Wordle, but not to post about it and that type of thing. So basically not crossing picket lines. But this is according to Neiman Lab. They did notice that there were still things that were being done. So breaking news alerts still being sent out. They have a publication called The Daily that was still sent out. There was a live blog on Brittany Griner's release. And so that was kept up to date. And there are 2 top Times reporters who are not participating in the walkout. And again, their bylines were by the Brittany Griner live blog. So apparently they were the ones running it. And they did note also that comments may go unmoderated. So you know how you can put comments below articles, which I try not to read because most of them are uninformed and stupid. I shouldn't say most, many. So they may go, you may find more stupidity than usual because of that. So as this develops, I will let you know what came of the walkout. But they are wanting to renegotiate that contract. And again, it's one thing if you're at the Springfield Times-Picayune, but it's another thing if you are at arguably one of the largest newspapers in the world, which is the New York Times. And they are flourishing. And it's not just because of, it's not subscriptions. It's not sales of the paper. It is actually all the associated projects that they have. They've got the New York Times Magazine. They have a lot in this empire they call the New York Times. So that's what's happening there. Let's all say goodbye to Trevor Noah, as we talked about a little while ago. He is leaving The Daily Show after 7 years. And I don't know if you saw the clip on social media, but he actually thanked fans and praised Black women. It was, listen to it if you can. I was like, wow. And it's like everything that he is today is because of Black women. Obviously, his mother, his grandmother, growing up in South Africa. And so he gave a tearful goodbye to his fans and his final address at the desk. He thanked everyone who's ever watched Comedy Central, the Comedy Central show, and he gave particular praise to Black women for their support. He says this: I'm grateful to every single one of you. I remember when we started the show, we couldn't get enough people to fill an audience. And he noted that that's the way comedy always works. And then he said, I look at this now and I don't take it for granted ever. Every seat that has been ever been filled to watch something I'm doing is always appreciated, because I know the empty seat that sits behind it. Thank you to people who watch. Thank the people who share the clips, everyone who's had an opinion, everyone who's been kind enough to be gracious, even if it is a critique. So it's really, he was really very gracious about it. So you can find that. It's on Instagram. If I can find it and post it, I will. But this whole praise of Black women, I thought it was amazing. So farewell, Trevor Noah. We can't wait to see what else you do. And I love Trevor Noah. I think he's brilliant. All right. Those of you, I know that Carolina is a stan for Disney Plus, if only because she's got little ones that need to be entertained. So Disney Plus has finally launched its ad-supported tier to compete with Netflix. Of course, why else would you do it? So this is actually yesterday, I think, was Disney Plus launched its ad-supported tier called Disney Plus Basic. That is $7.99 a month, and the plan is currently only available in the U.S., but other countries will get it sometime next year. Let me say what Michael Paul, the president of Direct-to-Consumer, said in his statement. Today's launch marks a milestone moment for Disney Plus and puts consumer choice at the forefront. With these new ad-supported offerings, we're able to deliver greater flexibility for consumers who enjoy the full breadth and depth of incredible storytelling from the Walt Disney Company. That's a statement if I ever heard it.
Let me say this, Dr. Tachi. What they're doing is they're forcing us back to cable, because we cannot, all of these little menus, all of these little a la carte crap is adding up.
A la carte crap. That's a good way to put it. Because the entire streaming industry has become a la carte, and it's really, really difficult to get everything that you want in one streamer. At one point, we thought that Netflix may have been that, but because everybody else figured out that, I too can have a streamer and we can make money off of it. I mean, that's the name of the game. Making money. So yet again, the traditional industry comes in and messes up something that was great to begin with. So $7.99 for an ad-supported tier. Call that $8. Now, how many
that goodbye?
Say again?
Call that goodbye.
Exactly. We'll see you later or never. Because how many $7.99s can your pocket withstand? Can your purse withstand? Can your wallet withstand? Not many. After the fourth $7.99, it's like, okay now. And $7.99 is cheap. This is ad supported. We have to look at some of these other streamers that have tiers that start as high as $14 and up. So even if you do pay for it on a yearly basis, this thing adds up. So cable is happy right now. I have to say that they are extremely happy with what's going on. But here's the thing. While they're happy, I don't think this means that people are going to go running back into the arms of cable. Why? Because cable has not changed. They haven't changed their tune. They're not going to do anything significantly different or new to change the game. They just want you to come back. So maybe for a while they'll fool you with their stupid, oh, for X amount of months you can get this, but they're not offering you anything new or different or a reason that you wouldn't leave again. So they haven't learned anything. The moral of the story is you haven't learned cable. So even if a few come flocking back, they may leave again. So this industry needs to figure out what they're going to do, because this a la carte crap, as Carolina so eloquently put, is not going to work for the majority. So let me give you, go ahead. Sorry.
There's a comment from Arvin. He says Spectrum is notorious.
Oh, yeah, I don't have a Spectrum, and I know Arvin is in Texas, so you have a Spectrum there. But yeah, Comcast is also notorious for that kind of rubbish. Yeah, so let's talk.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying I'm streaming stuff. I'm like, I'll figure it out, but I am not going back to cable.
Yeah, no, it's like, why would I don't go backwards? To me, cable is backwards. That even the delivery system of cable, the fact that you all, and I won't get too deep into it, but you all realize that technology that cable is using is so antiquated. That's from the early days of cable. Initially was intended to take television signals, broadcast television signals out to rural areas that could not reach it. They're using that same copper coaxial cable technology. It is so antiquated. So while you can get, if you ever look at a cable, for cable, and you'll see, it's thicker than the average thing. And that's because, the bigger it is, the more signals can travel over it. But again, it's still old-fashioned copper wire. So they haven't changed the technology. They're not doing that, that much else. Wired is still always a preferred delivery method because you're going to get less interruption than you do over the air or satellite or that type of thing. But this is a whole other lesson I won't get into. The point is that cable is antiquated. They are not looking to change. They just want customers back. They'll change just as much as they need to get people to come back. And I can tell you who it's going to be. It's not going to be younger millennials. It's not going to be millennials. It's not going to be, it's not going to be Gen X. It's not going to be millennials. It's not going to be Gen Z or Gen Alpha. The people that will go back, boomers and above, that just are used to, the older way of doing it. And it's already taken them 10 years to figure out the remote for all these things. So let me just go back to cable. Those are the people that they would probably get, not the people who are already used to the streaming revolution. And even within boomers and silent generation, right? Even some of them have already become used to this new streaming way. So cable has a lot to prove. So with Disney Plus, Netflix actually had its work cut out for them. Go ahead.
Doc, I think another reason why they're going to lose boomers is because a lot of boomers have a serious budget. And why would they pay for something when they can get it on their phone and not have to worry about an additional cable bill? So, I don't know if who's going to be the audience for this in the long run in terms of massive numbers.
Yeah, exactly. It is. You are exactly right. Cable is no longer a mass medium in the true sense. It is now more of a niche thing for people who need cable for certain things. And the thing is, there were a lot of people that were hanging on to cable because they didn't want to learn a new system. It's like, all right, I'll get to it eventually. I'll cut it off eventually. And like, if you were like me, I had cable for a long time because, this is what I teach. I needed to have it. But then streaming came around and it took me a minute to cut cable so that I could get onto streaming, simply because of time and that type of thing. But then I was like, you know what? I can't be paying $100-something every month for cable. Goodbye, kick rocks. So that's what finally did. And so you're right. Price is probably going to be the determining factor. But if we keep piecemealing and a la carting things, that's going to be problematic. So we will all follow this, but I will be paying very close attention to that. So you're right, Carolina, absolutely. So here's the thing. Disney Plus Basic lets viewers stream high quality video, including full HD, which is 1080p, HDR10, 4K Ultra HD, Dolby Vision, and expanded aspect ratio with IMAX enhanced. But it also lets subscribers stream on up to 4 supported devices simultaneously. Netflix does not do that. Their ad-supported plan only supports 720 HD video quality. Now, let me tell you, 720, not that it's bad, it's still HD. But when we're talking about we're in a world that has, some 4K streaming, the resolution is much less with 720. On top of that, when you stream, like right now, you all are streaming to Facebook, that's 720. It's usually downgraded. Streaming is usually downgraded for social media. So you mean to tell me I'm paying money and all I'm getting is social media quality from you, Netflix? Come on. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
So off of that, on to another plus, Paramount Plus. So according to Ampere, which is an analysis firm, in London, they've done some ratings, and they have rated Paramount Plus as the top streaming service in the U.S. in terms of value, based on the company's popularity and critical rating formula. So they're priced at $6, but with a content value of over $8.50 a month. Ampere says that Paramount Plus gives the best streaming value in the U.S., and Disney Plus is a close second, with the content offer to justify the recent $3 a month price increase for the ad-free tier. So when we're talking about the top in terms of value, Paramount Plus is first according to this study, and second is Disney Plus. Netflix is not in there. They have a lot of work to do. Not that this is the end all and be all, but it is a measure. So interesting there. All right, let's talk about antenna. What? Did I say antenna? I did. Antenna adoption is actually growing among younger viewers. So nearly 2 in 10 viewers now use antennas for over-the-air broadcasts, according to a new study from Horowitz Research. So in 2022, 18% of television content viewers report having a digital antenna, and that digital antenna ownership has grown among younger viewers from 14% in 2021 to 23% in 2022. So that's interesting, because you don't even think that younger viewers are watching television to a large extent, much less using an antenna to do that. But despite this growth in younger viewers for antennas, the penetration rates for over-the-air antenna was about the same as 2021 and lower than the penetration during COVID, when antenna adoption and usage spiked. So the pandemic was a huge reason for the spike. I actually have an antenna because I have Sling, and Sling only picks up my local NBC affiliate, so I don't get all the other CBS, ABC, Fox, those things. So I use an antenna to pick up those other channels with that. So also, hyperlocal content is really important to antenna owners. 58% say that they are interested in hyperlocal news and information from their specific community. Remember what we talked about before with BBC covering things? Okay, so this is a solidification that we really care about in the US, hyperlocal. And this is what Adriana Watterson, who is the Chief Revenue Officer at Horowitz Research, she says, there is still a healthy market for the live, linear, local, and hyper-local broadcast news and information that digital antennas can deliver for free to customers. But consumer education is critical to drive awareness, continued adoption, and viewership. So I don't know for how much longer that will be the case, but I found that this was very, very interesting.
I have a couple of comments here from Arvin. He says, in order to stream, we still rely on the hardwired internet unless we tap into the towers directly with our phones or hotspots. And then he said he loves Paramount Plus. and that T-Mobile is pretty much giving away a year of these services within their plans. And then he asked Dr. Tachi, have you done any reviews on Swoop TV? I have not. He says my mom swears by it and has been using it for 5 years.
Oh, I have not done any reviews on Swoop TV. I don't even really know that much about it. Like I've heard it mentioned, but I have not. So you know that what that means. After this, I'm going to do a dive into that.
Okay.
So, yeah, fantastic. All right, so I just have a few more pieces of stuff. So, not that we didn't know this, but according to Pointer, which is a journalism institute, Asian Americans are severely underrepresented among on-air TV journalists. So the Asian American Journalists Association found that in the top 20 markets, 24% of stations don't have any Asian American or Pacific Islander reporters on air. And so it's interesting because I think that in order to, you do need to see representation. You know, we keep hearing representation matters. It does. From a standpoint of what you can be when you're young, if you don't see people that look like you doing that, you don't think it's something that is possible for you. And, you know, despite the fact that there are roadblocks put up specifically and have been historically, and so at a point you don't even have to have rules for that to happen. It just persists just because that's the way it always is. So this is interesting. So when we talk about Asian American Pacific Islanders, that includes, you know, we're not just talking about countries like Japan, Japanese Americans, Chinese Americans. We're also talking about Indian Americans. We're talking about people from Maldives, like Southeast Asia as well, or Heritage Southeast Asia, and then Pacific Islanders as well. So that I found that interesting and troubling and not surprising. I mean, all you have to do is in your market, take a look and see, and you can do your own assessment of what the case is. And there needs to be a diversity of thought in news, because if you don't have that diversity of thought, then one way of looking at things gets reported in the news. So I think that is something that definitely needs to be looked at, and we need to stop doing studies about it and bloody change it. How about that? We already know it exists. Let's stop just making studies about it. Okay, a few more things now. This is tech, but I'm sorry, I had to tell you about it. I talked about this. We did a special edition of Mediascope yesterday on Thursday. So Elon Musk, because I know you all love him so, is reportedly building these, quote, sad hotel rooms at Twitter headquarters for exhausted employees. Now, remember how he gave this ultimatum, this manifesto of there's going to be this, basically this crackdown of everybody has to put in all these hours or leave. And some people said, I bid you adieu and I exit stage left. And some people are, you know, unfortunately still there. So he let's recap, bought Twitter for $44 billion. And he's making these deep structural changes because, you know, in order to buy Twitter, he had to give up, he had to sell a lot of his Tesla stock and give up some other thing. Nobody has $44 billion lying around, but old impulse control-less Musk went ahead and bought it, and they were going to hold his head to the fire or feet to the flame, whatever the saying is, in order for him to do that. So now he is transforming. So remember, he said he had in a quote extremely hardcore vision. So in lieu of this, what he's done is reportedly transformed conference spaces at the Twitter headquarters in San Francisco into these quote sad hotel rooms, as Futurism and Forbes reported, so that exhausted employees can get some rest without leaving the office. So apparently and it's not luxury either. So it's one thing if you're providing these luxury sleeping pods. No, it appears to be there's a queen size bed, 2 office style chairs, and a lamp. So Musk himself has gloated about the fact that he's even slept on the factory floor at Tesla. To him, sleeping at work is a sign of dedication to the cause, Futurism says, and not a symptom of a severely unhealthy work-life balance. My thing is, dude, because you want to sleep at the floor on the factory floor at Tesla doesn't mean the rest of your employees do. And again, I don't want to, I'm not a therapist. I am not a psychiatrist nor a psychologist. I am not a medical professional to know this, but I do know that he has Asperger's. I do know that one of the things with Asperger's is impulse control. And everybody who is on the spectrum is different. But all of these things to me kind of exhibit that. And I don't want to point to that as he's doing this because he has Asperger's. No. But there may be a lack of awareness because of that, of how things affect other people. You're fine with sleeping on the floor, my friend, but we're not. So the fact that he's like, oh, okay, well, we'll solve this. They need to sleep. I will put beds in the conference rooms. What? So now there's also this thing of they're investigating. First of all, OSHA, where are you? Second of all, there's this thing of they're investigating whether or not that's a violation of building code to do that. It's a violation of human code, if you ask me. So here's the thing. He said,
I put the pictures up over here on the live stream of the room. It looks pretty barren, and they are talking about the fact that it could be a violation of code here. Yeah. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. My thing is, if you're going to do that, at the very least, it needs to look like the W Hotel, okay? It needs to be someplace that people, it's not welcoming at all. I mean, why are we expecting that from a culture that has proven to not be welcoming? And he said this. So if you don't take your exit, that's really on you to see the signs. But so during a conference last month, he said, I was living in the factory in Fremont and the ones in Nevada for 3 years straight. Those were my primary residences. The fact that he thinks that that should be everybody's case, I'm not saying he said that, but the behavior is as such. So one Twitter unnamed source said it's not a good look. It's yet another unspoken sign of disrespect. There's no discussion, just like bed showed up. And then people already are, another person said, people are already putting in late nights, so it makes sense to an extent. Okay, if you think so. So I'm interested to know what you all think.
Okay, ladies. Here's my thing. The picture is not cute. Okay, I'm looking at this. It's just like a blow up bed and some pillows thrown in a room. Looks like a space heater over here on the side. I don't know. Double bed. The one image shows a room with a double bed, including a wardrobe and slippers.
You know, and you know, when you're looking at the picture, it also not only is it not welcoming, but doesn't it feel like you would be under surveillance? To me, it feels like that. If you already have a workplace culture that values work over your personal health and well-being, oh yeah, we'll give you some places just so that you could for 5 minutes so you could get up and work more. Elon Musk must be an android. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is, but nobody does what he does. But I would also feel like I was being watched,
especially in that environment. It shows 2 sofas with bedding on them at the headquarters. And he's saying Mr. Musk posted that on Twitter that the city should prioritize protecting children from the consequences of opiate drug use and get off his back, basically. Okay. I'm scrolling down through here. Long hours, leave Musk. Work long hours or leave, Musk tells the Twitter staff. There you go. So yeah.
So the people that feel they don't have an alternative or who want to stay will stay. Those who don't or want to stay will go. But I don't know that this is going to fly. Yeah, this is interesting. This is what he has to understand is this is not Tesla. And maybe what people are willing to put up with you from there, people at Twitter don't want to put up with.
That's a whole different set of employees. Yeah.
Exactly, and a whole different workplace culture. Remember, Twitter's had said that people who did not want to work in the office, during the pandemic, that they could indefinitely stay home. Well, Elon Musk repealed that, so you can already see he's somebody that doesn't value from his actions, doesn't value workers and doesn't value workers' well-being. And that's not a good mix for a workplace. The fastest way to get me to not do anything is to mistreat me. No problem. I don't have to help you at all. I do and people are probably going to do just enough, and that's not going to fly with them, and they'll end up leaving. So Twitter's the survival of Twitter is really at this point hinged on the workers and how he creates a workplace culture that allows Twitter to thrive. If you have turmoil inside the workplace, there's no way your app is going to thrive. And that's what I have. I know I ended on a tech note, but I found that interesting. So
yeah. I think it also opens an opportunity for the employees to open a lot of back doors to your application. I mean, they are knowledgeable about coding. It's going to be a problem. Disgruntled employees.
They're already disgruntled. I'm just waiting for the onslaught.
Yeah, revenge would be really a real problem. Woo! So with that, I think it's a wrap. Oh my gosh. A wrap for Twitter and a wrap for tech news today from BizChicks. Guys,
there was one other thing I wanted to let you guys know about collabs.
Yeah.
StreamYard is doing collab. And if you're interested, I will send you a link unless you already have one. If you use StreamYard, I don't know if everybody has invites for collab. Collab reminds me of Blab. And I don't know if that's where they meant to go with that. But there's like people over there that with different shows. You get to see the different creators over there, and you can talk to the other creators and invite them on your show and vice versa. And it's really nice. I thought it was a really good thing. So if
resource and community, yes.
So if you don't have one, I'll send you an invite. I don't know how we got invites, but we got 193 invites left.
Oh, send me one. I don't think I have one. So send me one, please.
Yes, and so if you message me your email, I will send you the invite.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
This is good. All right, everyone. We want to thank you, TJ. We want to thank you. I'm just exhausted with trying to clothe my avatar, but it's okay. So many opportunities. And I had not heard about Trevor Noah's goodbye. So, Dr. Tachi, I want to thank you for that. I did Google it and I will watch it. And I'm touched by his effort to acknowledge all the wonderful people in his life who made things possible. So if you're looking to be a part of the BizChicks community, you can find us on bizchicks.live. We'd love to have you follow us on our channel for YouTube. And we look forward to talking to you. Monday, we'll be talking with the BizChicks for coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations.
Yes, our guest will be Enrica Greathouse from Small Gorilla Marketing on Monday. So it's going to be a really good show. Come on by. She's been working with people like Bernadette Ajiwa and Seth Godin and some other people. So come on by and check it out Monday at 8 a.m.
Fantastic. With that, we want to remind you it's okay to make money in your business. So go to the front of your own line. Have a great weekend, everyone. If you're looking for TJ, you can find her at Terry Johnson Online everywhere. And don't forget Media Scope with Dr. Tachi. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.